Hello. Welcome to Port Misery, a GH podcast where we try to figure out why everybody's so miserable this week. Happy almost end of the quarter for me. The quarter's almost over here at where I work, and thank God. Thank God. But because it's the end of the quarter, this is gonna be an extra chaotic recap because I just have thoughts. I just have thoughts. I want to be so real with everybody. I almost crashed out. I almost crashed out. I was like, if what they were trying to say actually happened, I might have to take a break because I can't actually handle that. That will break my spirit. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about what almost led me to crash out. This is not Crash Out Hospital like it was last week. This is all dogs go to Thanksgiving hospital edition. Because why do we spend, I swear, I don't know if Frank has some extra money at the end of the year, but he said, let me spend at least 100 grand on dogs. Because what was with these dogs? Dogs were everywhere. There's an amazing photo of Maurice Bernard as Sonny Corinthos holding a Pomeranian. Yes, it is my ex background now. I cannot help it. It's so great. Why is he holding this dog? But also, why do I kind of hope they let him keep that dog? And then, like, he says it's for Donna, but it's actually for him and he loves it. Like the way Jay Pritchett loves Stella on Modern Family. If you know, you know. Um, I'm just saying it would be cute. Make it happen. Make it happen. But obviously, this was a Thanksgiving week. Like the whole week was pretty much dedicated to Thanksgiving. I think it may have all taken place on Thanksgiving. I'm not sure. I think it might have. To be honest, I think the entire week took place on Thanksgiving. Um, yeah. So let's get into it. So there's going to be a lot of bouncing around the week per se. So I'm not going to start with days or any storyline in particular, but the whole fucking week is Thanksgiving. So it doesn't really matter where I start. It absolutely does not matter where I start because every day this week was Thanksgiving. It was a week long day of bullshit shenanigans happening in Port Charles on the day of Thanksgiving, on the day that what the corporations want you to think is the day we think about our families and give thanks, but it's actually, nor is it about pilgrims or whatever. That's what, don't fall into that propaganda. What it is the day that Abraham Lincoln decided that everyone's going to stop thinking about this pesky civil war we're having and go have dinner with your family. That's what we're going to do because Thanksgiving's from 1863. Little random historical fact. I'm a historian in real life. FYI. Anyway, moving on, let's actually talk about GH and not random Thanksgiving facts because it's Thanksgiving in Port Charles. So first, let's do Christina's Hospital real quick because we did get some Christina's Hospital. We did see pretty much all of the hospitals. Like everybody got mentioned this week. We Christina's Hospital. We were at Law and Order Hospital at the PCPD. Yes, people had to go talk to the police on Thanksgiving. Nathan said, "I'm gonna talk to you on Thanksgiving, bro." Okay. Um, we were at hospital, seeing what the people who had to be on call that day were doing. We got a lot. We had a lot going on over, and obviously the main storylines like Delusional Hospital, Mob Hospital, all the things. So let's start with Christina's Hospital. Alexis is weird all week. Let's just talk about it. Alexis is weird all week. All the day of Thanksgiving in Port Charles, Alexis is weird. And first she's at the Drillo wedding because she's a hostage. But we once more have hostages at the Drillo wedding. There are several people who would be anywhere else if they could. Kai got out of it. Kai got out of it. He had to make an appearance because, he's a double agent for Black Hospital now. So he had to make an appearance at the Delusional Hospital wedding But he said, I had other plans. You just sort of slapped a wedding together in like 3 days. And so obviously I already had Thanksgiving plans with Black Hospital and my girlfriend. So I got to go. And then he did the funniest, blackest thing ever. He was just like, I hope you have the day that you deserve. I hope you have the days that you deserve. It was so funny. We're gonna get to the Drillo wedding. I'm not even gonna talk about that right now. Let me let me get back to it. So Alexis is at the wedding. She's there for Scout. Everything Scout is telling her is grounds for her to sue Drew for custody, to be honest. I feel like we've had to sit through like grandma's rights hospital for years with Carly and Nina, right? Fighting for grandparents' rights at various fucking times. Like, so random. But the first time a grandma actually has a claim to their grandchild, we get to watch the grandchild be abused on the show every time she's on the show. Now nobody want to invoke them. Now nobody cares about grandparents' rights and that being a thing. Come on now. Scout literally said, I hope my dad is happy. Like, I just want him to be happy so I can see my family. What? What? That's the definition of child abuse, Alexis. What are you doing? What are you doing? What is you doing? But she's like, whatever, I'm just gonna let this rock. Later on, she's talking to Martin about how this is stupid strategy. This is a dumb strategy, and she did not approve of it. She did not approve of it. Like, why are they doing this? But whatever, it's done. It's fucking done. Who cares? Whatever. So she goes home and she's with Christina and Molly, and she telling them about this whack ass wedding she was forced to be a party to, that she was a hostage at. And she starts saying crazy stuff. She's like, well, it seems like Willow and Scout like each other. Who gives a shit? Willow is crazy and she's accused of murder. Why aren't you already in family court, Alexis? Why are we already in family court? He just married the bitch who's accused of murdering him, and she's sad all the time. Can you just give me this child? Because these two don't need to be around children. There are already two children in this town that they're not allowed to be around. And so, like, what's happening? Why is Alexis not going to family court and invoking the grandparents' rights they made us learn about since literally COVID times? Since the COVID times, we've been hearing about grandparents' rights. But whatever. She's like, yeah, at least they like each other. Scout seemed happy. And then she's like, I think me and Drew agree that Willow's innocent. She better the fuck not be. She better not be. And I will get into why it has to be Willow at this point a little later. But she's telling them about the wedding, and then Christina notices that Cody called, like texted Molly and was like, come to the bar. So Molly decides to, get dressed up. She protests a little bit. She's like, no, I couldn't. No. And Christina's like, girl, you should just go. And like Molly rightfully is like, you know what? Should you be talking to me about this? And she like paid that man to do sex work with Ava and kind of fucked up the beginning of her little love story anyway. And Christina's like, that's why I should do it. Side note, just as I was having this conversation earlier on X. I'm still getting used to calling it X. I still probably gonna call it Twitter. I was having this conversation later, like yesterday or the day before on Twitter about like the problem with GH sometimes is sometimes I feel, I don't have any proof, right? But I feel that they write stories and they're like, this is clearly a two-sided story that has equally valid and competing sides, right? And I think the closest they've gotten to that in the last few years is probably Brooklyn and Lulu, like Brooklyn versus Lulu. And like I am vehemently on Brooklyn's side when it comes to that shit. Even though I do think she was out of pocket to just let Rocco know that he's a test tube baby, like, and that he was stolen and all these things. Like there was, girl, you did that. You did do that. I don't support that. But the whole thing with Lulu and her little investigation, I wasn't down with that. Girl, mind your business. Mind your business. And that's the closest they've probably ever got to like, okay, there are two sides to this. I can see the sides that we're doing, I can see the sides. Christina versus Molly was never that. It was never that. It was based solely on like writing and story choices that seemingly made Christina look like she cared more about the baby, but not because like Molly and TJ were callous in any way, but just because you never showed them. Like you just didn't give them a story. They were just forever off screen at work. And so now we're just supposed to come to the conclusion that they're too career oriented. Molly's too much of a career woman. TJ, is gonna leave her, and steal this fucking baby. That weird narrative, and no one ever bought it. Everybody, like even people who would be primed to be on Christina's side, were kind of like, yeah, it does just really seem like she's stealing this baby she forced them to let her carry. And so, rather than deal with the fact that they wrote a lopsided story inadvertently that favored Molly and TJ in every single way, instead of dealing with that in any way, they just ignored it, right? They just ignored it. They had Christina do outlandish shit, um, culminating in her locking Molly's father in a basement. Now, I'm sure I could be wrong, and I'll eat my words if it never comes back up, but I'm pretty sure that's going to come back up, that someone's going to slip up, that someone's going to step to Rick in the wrong way, and he's going to crash out. Just because like I'm very conscious that we have not seen Christina's reaction to the newly found brotherhood of Sonny and Rick. And so I'm very conscious of that. But they never really had them deal with it. They had Christina sort of like do all these outlandish things. She's paying Cody to do sex work. She's locking Rick in basements, and she's just kind of getting away with all of it and being like, and the things she gets caught about, she's like, "Well, I did it because I love you," and everyone in her life, in Molly's life, is like, "Well, she does love you," because they all know her bullshit. They're all in on the shenanigans. So the people that Molly's talking to are like not even reliable people, because she's talking to like Michael and Alexis, who are not only gonna put Christina first before Molly every single time. We already know that. They also know about Christina's bullshit and they're covering for her. And so they kind of have to be like, look, she's doing it because she loves you. Even though, they know that she's a fucking mess and they don't necessarily agree with it. They're just too deep now and it's kind of gotta go along with that. Right. And so we never deal with the Molly Christina mess of it all. I don't know if we ever will. I hope we will. Like I honestly, they really do need to give Molly a chance to cuss every member of her family out at some point, except maybe Dante. Definitely Alexis, definitely Michael, definitely Christina. Like she need to put hands on Christina, to be honest. And not talk to them. Cuss out Rick. And just yeah, not talk to them for a few months and just go live by herself. Be with Cody if she want to be with him. Go live in his horse house. That'd be mad funny if she just living in a house full of horses because she don't want to live with her mom. We got to pretend like these pole ass professionals can't just get their own place. Like we got to live in this stupid realm where Lucas has to like live at Windermere because he can't commit to living in a fucking apartment with Margot. Okay. Okay, sure. That's why he gotta live at Windermere. That's why Molly gotta live in the horse house. I don't care. I don't care. All right. That was my very long-winded way of saying that Christina and Molly have never really dealt with their shit, and Christina gets away with shit, and Molly just like, all right, cool. And so Christina, long-winded way to get to Christina convinces Molly to go see Cody over at the random hillbilly bar that everybody goes to. Let's go over to the hillbilly bar. Go over to this hillbilly bar. So at the hillbilly bar, we got in one corner Emma and Gio planning a B&E. Now we're gonna get to them later. Right? I just wanted to make it very clear. I know they're there. Later on, we get Jason and Spinelli with Britt drunk in the fucking corner and Cody being sad. Right? That's where we got Jason and Spinelli in the booth, Britt drunk in a corner being a mess. just being loud, being messy. She drunk like this her, sophomore year in college. It's very weird. But she's drunk in the corner. Cody is sad at the bar near Britt, right? So Jason is with Spinelli, who tells him that he just got back from seeing Maxie. It was very sad, but it was also like, we're glad to see her. We're glad the kids got to see her, but also it's very hard because we don't want to see her like that. Jason don't even seem like he care. Jason don't even seem like he care, just because, like I said, Britt is being loud and messy and drunk in the corner. Britt is like, hey, Cody, we need to catch up. Because remember when they were trying to pair us before I crashed out on this show and moved to England? And I'm back now and I'm alive and we should do stuff. Like, we have chemistry. You kicked me in the pool and that's why you should talk to me. And it's like, okay, girl. Okay. Now, Cody don't even care about her. Cody does not care about her because he likes Molly, and he had texted Molly to come see him, and because she's just one of those people who don't have her phone in her hand. I know they exist. My mom is that person, but I feel like Molly's younger than me, so good for her. She got more control than me. Cause like I would get the text. I would have got the text. I would have been like, oh, I can't, I'm with my family. My niece is here and I gotta, be here. And he wouldn't have to be sad in this bar. But that's just me. But she didn't get the text. So she was like, I'm with family. I'm going to be here with family. I'm here with family. Now, caveat, I'm not saying I'm just here playing Candy Crush or I'm texting random people when I'm supposed to be with my family. What I'm saying is that my phone is on me, so it would vibrate and I'd be like, oh, I got a text. What's that? And I could either deal with it or not deal with it. I just wouldn't be oblivious to it. I wouldn't be ignorant to the text. But she was ignorant to this text. She didn't even know the text had happened. And so he just decides that she's ignoring him. Now, here's my problem with that. It's like, you know her and you know how fastidious she is and how even if she didn't want to hang out with you, she would still text you back. She would still text you back because you're not at odds with her right now. Like, the only time she like outwardly ignores you is when she is mad at you. Like, she's mad at you and so she's not going to answer your phone calls, but she's not mad at you. She is not mad at you, and so why would you assume that she just saw the text, said, fuck Cody, I'm not going. I don't even need to let him know, because that's not who she is. But he crashes out, and so he's like, yeah, I will entertain whatever the hell loud, drunk, messy Brit has going on. And so she's like, I want to dance. Let's dance. This is such a weird look for Brit. Brit is at least in her late 30s, early 40s. However old the actress is doesn't matter. That's what I'll say. She is characterized as at least in her late 30s, early 40s. And so, girl, what is this? What is this behavior? Like, all for Jason Morgan's benefit? If you want to talk to that man, go talk to him. What's the problem? It's not even like a Sunny situation where he's being a dick to you. And this the only way you can get his attention is by being loud and messy and drunk in a restaurant. So he gotta like come take you out the restaurant because you being mad and everyone knows about the ship that the two of you are in. So you being loud and drunk and messy reflects badly on him. And he's like, what the hell? I understand. I've seen lots of Carson. I get it. I totally get it. This is not Carson. This is Brit. And so Brit don't need to be doing any of this. If you want Jason's attention, just talk to him. All you gotta do is talk to him. Like, what's the problem? But she's crashing out. She's just like, oh my God, I'm drunk. Dance with me. Cody. Okay, and make it make sense. Cody decides, let me pick that song that me and Molly danced to play on the jukebox. So he's playing that song. It's like a slow song. And Britt's like, dance with me, right? Because she's just trying to get Jason's attention while he ignores his friend in pain, paying attention to her drunk, messy, loud ass. And so they're dancing and walks Molly. And so Molly is like, okay, what the fuck is this? Like, what the fuck is this? And of course, Cody's back is to her. So he doesn't know that she's there. And then Britt just starts making out with him. Making out with him. And so Molly's like, okay, I'm gonna go. Leaves, comes home all mad, like, I'm mad at Cody again. I really can't do this with these two again. Stop with the misunderstanding, stop with the confusion. How many times is Molly gonna walk in on this man kissing another woman? Like, you've already done this with Ava. You did this with Ava and it wasn't cute. And now we're doing, at least that was funny though. At least that was funny because he was doing sex work. And he was like, I got to do the sex work for Molly. And it's like, I've just never seen this type of gallantry expressed where like your gallantry came out through sex work. That's crazy. But, at least it was on that. Now he's actually being assaulted. And it's a misunderstanding. I'm not saying call the police on Britt, but like, let's be real. Consent is a thing. That's all I'm saying. She just started, sticking her tongue down his throat. But he's being assaulted, but she can't tell because, he's dancing with her to the song. It's out now. It just seems like that's what you do. Now it just seems like that's the song. Like this is the song that I get the bitches with. That's what it looks like now. And now she kisses you. So Molly runs out. And of course, Molly runs out right before he's like, bitch, what are you doing? Don't do that. I don't want to kiss you. Like, I'm with someone else. Like, stop it. And so now there's more Molly and Cody misunderstandings, miscommunications. And we're gonna have to do the whole song and dance again. Like, we are back. As I swear, with Molly and Cody, it's always like 1 step forward, 18 steps back. Just straight back to it's like playing shoots and ladders. We're playing shoots and ladders with Cody and Molly, and we constantly keep getting shoots. We keep getting shoots. We keep going back down. And it's like, no. I feel like we're going to get to them like the day before their wedding. And then all of a sudden he's dancing with some bitch to that specific song, getting assaulted again. And now we back down to the beginning. Right back to one. It's terrible. It's terrible. But let's finish up this little spot because it was just very random. And so drunk Brit is like, you lame to Cody when she says that he doesn't want to fuck her. And so he leaves and she's trying to still drink some more. Like, at what point is the bartender liable for continuing to serve her? Because she's already being loud and drunk and messy. And so, like, why you keep, what, is she tipping well? Like, what's going on? Cash her out. Close her fucking tab. Like, what's going on? But Jason's like, nah, give her some water. Like, she's done. Because I guess Spinelli left. He was like, yeah, I don't need to be ignored. I'm going to go. I'm going to go. And so Jason ends up taking her back to Bobby's. And she's all still being drunk and loud and messy. And she tells him to, like, if he got to stand guard on her, to, like, stand out in the hall. So he's out in the hall, and of course she goes to try and give herself the fake Huntington's shot, and she fall over, and he busts in, and she's like, I need to take a shot, and he gives her the shot. And if you liked it, feel free to like it. That's what I know that people are Jibrit fans, and I know that y'all like those scenes, and so if y'all like them, you are allowed to like them. I did see a tweet that made me laugh out loud where someone said that Jason was taking care of his daughter, like his teenage daughter or something. And that shit was hilarious because she was giving I drank too much alcohol for the first time vibes. You like crying and shit and like falling over and stuff. It was definitely giving 17-year-old who drank spiked punch energy. But as I said, if you like it, that's valid. That's valid. I like a lot of weird shit. I like a lot of chaotic shit on this show. So no judgment here. Just wasn't for me. Wasn't for me. Moving on. And so let's go over to Spy Hospital real quick. Get them out the way. So I can cares about Spy Hospital. They were relegated to Friday. That's how much we care about the inner workings of Spy Hospital without Anna Duvane. Just FYI. But you got Spy Hospital at Thanksgiving. So Joss was with Trina talking about how Dollar Tree Dex is a spy. And I had no idea, and I thought I was okay with it. And then he disappeared on me, and yada yada yada. He's lying to Trina. He's lying to Trina. Then she gets a call to go to work. Now she got a call from Pikeman, who was with Carly, but he was the only one there. Like last year when he was at Thanksgiving, when Australian Pikeman was playing him, he like the whole family was there. Everybody was there. Like I think Sonny was even there. Like everybody was at Thanksgiving at Carly's house. And this year, no one's there. Michael and his kids are over at the Q's. Jocelyn is with Trina complaining. Lucas not talking to her. Sonny got his own shit happening at his house with all them dogs. And so, like, she just with Pikeman by herself. And so, like I said, he's starting to clock that something's wrong. That something's wrong. We're not as close as we used to be. What's going on? And she's like, oh no, it's fine. Yada, yada, yada. And then he excused himself to go to the WSB because, national security, world security doesn't stop on Thanksgiving. Whatever. But I swear, I think he's starting to clock that she don't like him. He's really clocking that. Excuse me. But he's really clocking that she don't like him no more. And he's like, what's going on with that? What's going on with that? So he goes to the WSB to cuss out Jocelyn for telling Emma and Gio where them dogs are. Like I said, we're gonna talk about Emma and Gio later on. But like she's like, I don't really know what you want from me. Like Kane from Y&R is gone. We haven't seen his ass in like since whatever time between the election and Thanksgiving. So a few days, I guess. So we haven't seen him in a few days. So them dogs were just there. Does he not have help with the dogs? Was he feeding all them dogs himself, or was he not feeding them? I don't know. But they were like them dogs were in danger. And so I had to do it. And like he threatens to like, charge her with treason some more. And she yells at him about how weird it is that he's banging her fucking mom and making her lie to her and keep her uncle in danger, and how that shit is like stupid. And he's like, listen, we're doing this because a white East African warlord got weapons of mass destruction, and you know what that means. And she's like, yeah, we gotta make sure we destroy him. And he's like, nah, girl, nah, we need that shit. We would like to have the weapons of mass destruction. Actually, what you talking about? And for the first time, Jocelyn is like, are we the baddies? Are we actually the villains of this story? Wait a minute. Hold up. Did I accidentally join the evil version of the WSB? Because there's the DVX, but then like they're just always evil. The DVX median personality is evil, and they have various levels of evil they're willing to do. But the WSB, it can be good. It can be good. When Frisco is running it, when Robert Scorpio runs it, it's good, right? If Anna starts running it, it's gonna be good. But if you got other people running it, if you got, Pikeman, as it seems, if you got, Victor fucking Cassadine running it, it's going to be an evil WSB situation. And it's seeming like Jocelyn has inadvertently joined the evil WSB. Because, oh yeah, Pikeman said he pissed at her for banging Dollar Tree Dex and pretty much let her know that he sent him somewhere. Like he gone because of me. I told you to stop banging him. And so WSB seems like it's evil, y'all. We're going to see what's up with that. I'm guessing like we've all been assuming that White East African Warlord has Anna. What if it's Pikeman? I saw some early guesses on that it's actually Pikeman who has her, but because he's so like, yeah, she on a WSB mission, and you would think that he would have the tea on that and he would try to find out about that, but he's so cool with that explanation. He was like, yeah, she definitely on that WSB mission, and so it's actually seeming like he might have her, but I don't know. At this point, they could do either or. They could make it White East African Warlord hold Anna, or Pikeman's holding Anna. I'm not sure. But it's seeming like the WSB is evil. That's what's happening there. And so the last part of Spy Hospital is Carly. So Pikeman leaves and she decides to go give Lucas some pie. Now Lucas is hard headed as fuck. He's over here with not Maxie. He's over here with Felicia, who just got back from seeing Maxie, and he still want to be hard headed with his sister like that. And like, this is my thing. I get that he is like, I need you to accept Marco. Yeah, sure. And he does not accept Sonny. And so why can't they just agree to disagree about their like former ex-husbands and fucking current boyfriends? Like, you don't have to, this whole like, would Marco be invited? Would I be invited to White East African Warlord's house and not actually be under threat because of my connection to Sonny? Would my children be able to be at that man's house? Are my children safe from that man's father? Like, Lucas acts like she don't have real concerns with Marco and Whitey's African Warlord. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that man tried to kill several members of my family, of our family, because not just the Corinthos side, he came for the Spencer side too. We currently see what happening with fucking Laura. We'll get into that in a second. What are you talking about? Like, it's not about just you and me. There's so many other people. Like, oh, Marco is safe for you and me. Is he safe for Donna? Is he safe for Michael? Like, is he safe for Jocelyn? These are not these. He doesn't give a shit. Like, Lucas does not give a shit about that. He's just not thinking about it. This is very weird. It's very weird. And so they essentially, like, Lucas is like, well, if you can't accept my man, you don't accept me. And so trying to make it seem like she's like homophobic or something like that. It's like, no, your man is a criminal. Your man is a criminal who chooses to be in his daddy's criminal organization. He's his lawyer. And we all know his daddy ain't shit. And so what do you mean? And so essentially Lucas is like, yeah, if you can't accept Marco, then I can't have you in my life. Can't have you in my life. And so Carly's like, cool, here's this pie, goodbye. And she goes home. And like, she gets home and she just starts hearing crinkling. And she just starts, remember that, clock that. She just starts hearing crinkling. Crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. And so she grabs like a fireplace poker and she's like about to, because she thinks it's outside. And she about to go outside and bust someone's head in. But then someone run up behind her and it's Valentine. And he's all fucked up. He's all fucked up. Obviously, he broke out of jail. I don't know how many people he had to kill or maim to get to her. But he's out of jail. Here's my question. Was he just crinkling up paper? What was he doing the crinkling sound for? He was like, crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. Ah, crinkle, crinkle. If you in her house and you need her help, why don't you just say, hey girl, it's me. It's me. I broke out of jail. We're kicking this honey pot into sixth fucking gear. All right. We're kicking it up a notch. Get real serious about the honey pot. But instead, he's crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. Why did they do that? I was dying because I watch it with other people and I couldn't hear anything because it's just like the way I watch it the first time is not an efficient way. But when I went back to like hear what had happened and I heard the crinkle, 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 I was like, why is he doing this? Like, that's so funny. And so yeah, that was my hospital. It did make me laugh with Valentine was fucked up Valentine, beat from the head to the feet like he's Rocco, crinkling paper to get Carly's attention. Crinkle, crinkle. Well, last I'm done. Let me stop. Let me move on. Let's move on to Whitey's African Warlord. The reason why Lucas and Carly are beefing. So Whitey's African Warlord is proving Carly right day after day, minute after minute, hour after hour. He's just proving her right because now he is on his let me threaten everybody. Let me threaten everybody, especially Laura and Sonny. So let me go back. So Kevin comes home. Now remember, Laura found Kane from Y&R in her trunk, called Sonny, who called Jason. Mob Hospital cleaned it up. She was like, "Can you put the body back in the trunk so I can call the cops?" Sonny was like, "No, we put the body in the dip. He's gone now." And she's like, "Oh, dip, fuck." And so Kevin comes back. Lulu shows up for a second to distract us, and we didn't need any of that. Like, we didn't need any of that. Stop it. But Lulu shows up, takes the new Ace away. Side note, so many people were like shocked that Ace is blonde. This is what I have to say. I don't know why they made this child blonde. I don't know if they want us to try to believe that Laura birthed this child since Esme got mousy brown hair. The funny part is that they they break Esme back this week, and so they emphasize she is not blonde. But I mean, I guess Heather has blonde hair, and so maybe they're saying he takes after Heather. I don't know. I'm grasping at a way to connect this casting to existing lore. What I will say is that when it comes to very, very small children, the person who is cast is the child who is the quietest. The child who can sit and play with toys and not start crying and not get distracted and not mess up the scene when they're filming. And so there's a very good chance that they wanted to cast a child that was a little more, swarthy looking like Nicholas Cassadine, and they just didn't they weren't able to shoot the scene. That would be my biggest guess in like a technical sense, over them being like, I'm specifically gonna make sure this grandbaby looks like Heather. But it is the closest thing that I could imagine that essentially both Laura and Heather are his grandmothers, and they're both famously blonde. But whatever. I don't know why I'm trying to give the show cap anyway. It doesn't matter. But Laura is there with Ace. Kevin comes in. Lulu comes there. She puts Ace to bed. She leaves. Laura tells Kevin that Kane from YNR is dead and that she called Mob Hospital to cover it up. He is so funny. He is like, okay. First of all, I like that there's no lies between Kevlar. I really like that there's no lies between Kevlar. I like that she was just like, I found a dead body in my trunk when you were gone and I called the mob to cover it up. I'm so sorry. He's like, I'm so sorry because I should have been in Dublin. I don't even know why I was in Dublin. Like, they didn't even explain why his ass was in Dublin, and apparently he was supposed to be there for an extra week. Now, we all know that he was not in Dublin. He was over in DC on Beyond the Gate, where he's like a main character over there. And so it's always great to have John Lindstrom back, but I do understand why he would prefer to play a mobster over on Beyond the Gates rather than, Mr. Laura Collins like holding her purse and shit. But we did get a good sense of why Kevin is missed on the show and why he's necessary. It's really good for Laura to have like an actual safe harbor to be in that is not Sonny Corinthos, right? Like, she had to call Sonny because Kevin wasn't there. And so it's good to have him back. And he's pretty much like, all right, so that's not good that you got caught up in Mob Hospital. Apparently you joined Mob Hospital while I was away. And I'm gonna stand by you, girl. So here we gotta think smart. Whoever did that to you is not done. They're clearly upset that you were elected mayor again and that Sonny got to keep his fucking peers. And so we're gonna have to deal with that. While they're having this conversation, someone's just like blowing up Kevin's phone. And so Laura's like, look, clearly you gotta go deal with that. Go deal with your patient, and I'm gonna be here. When Kevin leaves, Whitey's African Warlord shows up. Whitey's African Warlord shows up and is essentially like, here's what's up. Here's what's good. I have pictures of you with this man's body in your trunk, and you gonna do what I say or else. Now, Laura does try to step to him. She does try to step to him. Like, that could be deep fake. Like, that's AI. I don't know nothing about that. Better men than you have tried to come for me, and they're all gone. And I'm mayor of this town, so what's good? But in the end, she's really like, damn, I'm fucked. Because he's like, I also got this picture of you and Sonny with this dead body. and it's your grandson's accuser. So what's good? And so she's like, oh dip. Um, she's crashing out. She ends up having a dream about Cyrus and Esme calling her an ancient person. First of all, the two of you not gonna call me an ancient person. That's actually wild. Esme, listen. Nicholas was an ancient person for locking you in a tower, but also you were an ancient person overall. You know, I don't agree that Spencer should have just gave your baby away on the side of the road to his daddy the second he said he was sorry. And you still went crazy and tried to kill Trina and ended up in the sin with Spencer, took his ass out with you. And so how you gonna call Laura ain't shit bitch for just finding a body in her car and calling Sonny instead of the police? Like what how is that any worse? It's nowhere near what you did. And Cyrus, weren't you a serial killer? Weren't you first getting people hooked on drugs? You were crazy mob boss getting people hooked on drugs and you started to become a cult leader. You started serial killing for the Lord. You killed Sam. You were trying to kill Lulu. Get the fuck out of here. I wish they had let Laura be like, fuck both of y'all. I don't want to hear this shit from y'all. Y'all wildly talking to me about this. I don't want to hear about this. But no, she just woke up in a panic, like, oh my god. Oh, I'm so sad. But once again, Kevlar for the win because she ends up telling Kevin that Whitey's African warlord is threatening her and that and she surmises that he is also threatening Sonny since he showed the picture of her with Sonny. And he is, because he immediately goes to Sonny's house to tell Sonny that he's going to sell him them peers. You gonna sell me them peers or else. And Sonny's real funny because he's like, what stops me from just bouncing? I can just bounce. I don't have to stay here and take this shit. And he's like, no, you loyal. That's your weakness. Like, I've been trying to search for your weakness for like a whole fucking year. And I finally found it, bruh. You're loyal to Laura. And you not gonna, like, she stood by you almost like, you know, it could have cost her her mayoral seat. It didn't. Everybody loves that she's besties with the mob boss, to be honest. But, you know, he was like, she stood by you. And so you're not gonna bounce on her. What you're gonna do is sell me these peers and you're gonna straighten up and act right. And so this is one or two things are gonna happen. Either Sonny doesn't sell his peers and we find a way to get Whitey's African warlord quick, or he does sell his peers and the whole storyline is about how Sonny got his peers back, to be honest. It's gonna be one of those two things. That's what it's gonna be. And so that's that story. It ends with Sonny calling Laura being like, so the fuck Whitey's African warlord, he threatened everybody. So we gonna have to put our heads together. We're gonna have to come together as Mob Hospital because you in Mob Hospital now. This week is the week that Laura officially entered Mob Hospital, and we're gonna have to figure out how to stop Whitey's African warlord. And so that was Mob Hospital. Let's go to Michael and the random sex worker. Michael is being a whole weirdo, to be honest. Creeping outside of fucking Willow's wedding. Just left Thanksgiving to just stand outside in a bush watching this hoe get married to his uncle. And so he goes to the random hillbilly bar. So many people were at this random hillbilly bar on Thanksgiving. It's crazy. But he goes to the random hillbilly bar to talk to a random sex worker about how Willow's a stupid bitch. And she's like, yeah, she is, to be honest. And we get a little bit of her backstory, like exposition dump on random sex worker. She had a hard childhood, as they all do. And that's why she's Team Michael. And then she's like, let's go back to my place and bang. Let's go. And you know what? I like it. I like it. Random sex workers growing on me. We got like a reverse Pretty Woman situation. Like, yes, Michael is still the millionaire man who is like with all the money and the power, but he really seems to be feeling her where she seems to be working hard to not fall in love with him, you know? Like, I like it. I like it. But let's get to like let's get to some things that I didn't like. Let's get to the things that I didn't like. Okay, you know what? I was entertained by most of these things. Um, a couple of them I just like, why did you do this to me? Why did you put me through this? Like, I don't need this type of trauma in my life. And it's everything to do with like actual Thanksgiving. Like when the show is actually dealing with Thanksgiving, it's so fucking annoying. So you have the whack Drillo wedding on Thanksgiving. These two are so annoying. They're so annoying. This isn't cute. This wasn't fun. I need Willow to keep Sam's name out of her fucking mouth since she's using Scout, her daughter, to get her own kids back. She wants nothing to do with this family that they're trying to create, literally using this girl to get her own way. Ugh, it's annoying. Like Willow is such an unrootable character. That's why she kind of has to, like, another reason why she has to have shot Drew. I need her to have something rootable to do, to be honest. I don't care about her trying to frame Michael. That's a character for who they should be trying to turn her into, to be honest. But I'll talk more about that in a second. But they get married, and right before, Willow confirms to Nina that she doesn't love Drew, that she's just using him. And great, what's that supposed to do? What's that supposed to do for me and Willow, and for me liking Willow as a character, or for me wanting to see any of this? There is just so much of them, and so much of this, and so much ignorance to the ways in which they have destroyed their own lives and caused the situations in their lives that they complain about. I actually can't stand it. I need some self reflection. If they have John Lindstrom here, please let it be to be a therapist for Delusional Hospital, because it's gotten out of hand. It's gotten out of hand. The delusion is too much. It's infecting other people. Because now you got Alexis being like, I think Willow is innocent. No. No. Willow seems to like Scout. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. I don't think she knows how to like anyone or how to love anyone. She's like, she knows how to obsess about them, but she doesn't actually know how to love people. And so, boo everything that happened at the Drillo wedding. Didn't care about a single person there except Scout, to be honest. Martin goes straight to hell. And so that happened on Thanksgiving. The Q's Thanksgiving probably made me more upset than anything else, just because what was the reason? What was the reason? And so, would you like to know what happened at the Q's Thanksgiving if you're not watching regularly? Nothing. Nothing happened. If you're not watching regularly, nothing happened. They just gave the food away just in case something might happen. There's like a little fake out with the plot device dog, but nothing happens. They're just like, we should just give it away to the hospital because that's what Monica would do. Leo's there. Leo's there and he's vegetarian, and Olivia is acting like she did when they realized he was on the spectrum. It was very wild. She was like, what? You're not going to eat my chicken parmesan? You're not going to eat the sausages? It's like, what? Girl, please calm down. Like, please calm down. It's fine. It's totally fine. Also, super funny that, like, so Ned came home, which I thought was great. I was like, damn, did he leave to do days? But no, he's back. And Ned came home. And also, yes, I know there's a 10-month gap between when Days films and when we actually see it. But Ned came home, and Chase is like, I made this whole fat, butter, salt filled Thanksgiving dinner for you, person who just got done having open heart surgery. What? What? And they talk about how Tracy still doesn't know about that, and she ends up sending pizzas because, like I said, they gave all the fucking food away for no fucking reason. And I'm like, so now your son's gonna eat a bunch of pizza when he just had a triple bypass. Okay. Okay, GH, like, this is what I mean when I say they be forgetting. Like, y'all forgot that you gave Ned a heart attack right before Thanksgiving and said we can't not have Thanksgiving, though. We can't have, like, healthy Thanksgiving. Like, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. Whatever. It was hilarious. Hilarious and infuriating. Because why you even do that? Why even do that? And so let's go over the Black Hospital real quick. Cause Black Hospital had me heated. Black Hospital had me almost crashing out on the entire show. Cause the writers are actually out of pocket for what they tried to pull. Honestly, let's talk about it. So let's go over to the world's most awkward Black Hospital Thanksgivings, where Portia and Isaiah are like banging on all the food that the Quartermains brought over at GH. And Hat Daddy is pretending like he doesn't know that Curtis is leaving Portia for Jordan. And before you hop in my mentions and my comments talking about no, he isn't, Hat Daddy literally said when Trina said it, his response was, that's not the only reason. So it is a reason. He is leaving his wife for his ex-wife, turns out. Also, Trina finds out that Portia's pregnant because Hat Daddy and Stella have the loudest conversation in the world. And so Hat Daddy shows up for Thanksgiving. We have to hear about how he's in a band some more. We get it. He's not home a lot. We're happy to see him. Kai shows up, and then Jordan shows up, and Trina starts staring daggers at her. And so Jordan's like, yeah, let me leave. Curtis goes out after her, immediately starts making out with her. Trina is inside listening to Hat Daddy and Stella have the loudest fucking conversation over the fucking collard greens, and they announce that Portia's pregnant. And so Trina goes outside to ask Curtis, and Curtis is outside making out with Jordan. And so she starts freaking out. Before they can even deal with that, here comes Nathan on Thanksgiving. Nathan, I get that you can't be with your baby on Thanksgiving, but you really running up on people on Thanksgiving. You couldn't wait until Black Friday to run up on someone. So you want to make sure Curtis can get in line for the deals, but that he can't, but not that he can have turkey with his family. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. But Nathan shows up to question Curtis. Curtis first like protests, but then he agrees to go down there with Jordan. Trina stays at home with Hat Daddy and Stella, and they're kind of getting into it because Trina's mad that they didn't tell her about the baby. And it's like everybody knew but her. So Hat Daddy being like, well, your mom didn't want to tell anyone until the first trimester. And yet Curtis told you. And yet Curtis told you. And so you didn't feel the need? Okay. And so Trina lets it drop that Curtis and Jordan are together. Stella didn't know that. Stella didn't know that. Hat Daddy's the only person who had all the tea in Black Hospital. And so Stella goes off. Cause she's like, oh hell no, especially because Portia's pregnant. And Hat Daddy's like, I was just standing by my son. At that point, Trina is like, I'm gonna go. I don't even want to be a part of this fight, to be honest. Cause y'all lied to me about this baby. And so y'all fight about that yourselves. She goes out, Kai freaks out about whether or not her parents may or may not, which one of them may or may not have shot Drew. And Kai kind of has to talk her off the ledge. It's not a great look for Trina, to be honest. I don't know why you can't just have Trina stand by her parents, but whatever. But Stella and Hat Daddy are arguing because Stella feels that Hat Daddy should have told her about Jordan. And he's like, I was respecting my son. I was respecting my son. And like, Irene, is that the sister's name? Curtis's mom's name? He's like, Irene will be on my side. And Stella's like, if you think that, then you don't know my sister at all. And so Black Hospital's in fucking turmoil. Black Hospital's in turmoil with this Jurdis Purtis switch up where we're doing Jurdis now. And so Curtis is the menace of Black Hospital, to be honest. But let's go to why I almost crashed out, because none of that is why I almost crashed out. So Nathan takes Curtis down to the PCPD. He does not have a lawyer, so Jordan decides to sit in for fucking reasons. Doesn't make any sense. But they're going through all the questions. Did this happen? Did that happen? Where was that? Where were you? Who are you talking to? Yada, yada, yada. And we get the flashback that Curtis asked Selena Wu to kill Drew and offer her $1 million to do it. I have so many fucking problems with this. I have so many problems with this. First of all, this should have been done within a few weeks of Drew getting shot. If you wanted to do a bunch of crazy misdirects where you have like everyone be a suspect, you should have given us multiple scenes of people flat out planning Drew's demise. Not just like someone's got to stop him. It's got to be stopped. Like, if this is what we're doing, then do it, but do it early. It is December. You should not be dropping this amount of information, like this big of a bomb, especially because it goes absolutely nowhere. It goes absolutely nowhere because as soon as we find out that he did that, he confesses to Jordan and tells her that he called it off and he didn't transfer any money to her. And so it's not him. Curtis is off the suspect list, essentially. Why did we need it? Why did we need it? It's a completely useless misdirect. We were misdirected for 2 fucking days. Why? All of that, 2 days of that, just for us to end up back at it's either Michael or Willow. Why? This also makes Curtis and Jordan look so bad to me. If they look good to you, that's fine. But to me, this is so bad. Because how are you judging Portia for her lies when you have never once told her how connected you are to the Wu crime family? Not once. To the point where you're comfortable enough to call Selena Wu out of hiding and offer her $1 million to do a political assassination. But Portia's the fucking liar. And then Jordan just co-signing it, being like, oh my God, you just told me that you hired a mobster to kill a congressman, but you called it off at the last second. You're such a good man, Savannah. And then they make out. What was the reason? What was the reason? Like, the stupidity of it all is not why I wanted to crash out. It is the fact that they are entertaining anyone but Willow shooting Drew is actually crazy. It indicates such a terrifying thing that they have absolutely no intention of modifying Drew Kane in any way, shape, or form. That they want him at this level of evil 24/7. There's nothing to root for. There's nothing to like. It's like they don't seem to understand any of their villainous characters at all. I mean, the ones that last, like not the Helenas and the Victor Cassadines and, the Peter Augusts and stuff like that. Not these people. The people who stay on the show. Your Sunnies, your Carlys, your Avas, your Valentines, Nina. Like, there's a reason why those characters are considered viable, and it's because they have redeeming qualities. It doesn't mean that it redeems them 100% or it erases anything and everything they've done. It just means that there are things and times when you realize the humanity of the character and you get that they're more than just the sum of their bad decisions. Like, you can watch a scene with Ava and there is a moment like the scene that I'm going to get into in a little bit where like she's trying to bring Ava, or she's trying to bring Nina and Portia back together. That is Ava like, okay, listen, to be a good friend to Portia, I had to be a bad friend to Nina, but I want to make this right because I want us all to be friends. So like, let me try. That is a good thing. It was deeply naive and misinformed and it went terribly, but it came from a place of goodness. She wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna get messy and watch these 2 bitches fight in public. She was doing this out of the goodness of her heart, right? We see Sonny with his family and it offsets how he is as a ruthless mobster. Drew has none of that. He has none of that. He has no relationship on the canvas that reminds us that he is more than the sum of his bad behavior and his bad decisions. Not with Willow and not with Scout. And no one from his immediate family. That's a problem. That's a problem. And I feel like the show is just like, well, you guys liked this summer. Over the summer, you loved him as this like crazy, super evil, harsh person, and we're giving you what you want. And it's like, but it's your job to temper what the audience says they want with the needs of the character and the longer story. And like, you have kept him at this level. The shooting did nothing for him. Like, the shooting somehow made him worse and emboldened him to become an even worse asshole to everyone in town, including his very young daughter. That's a problem. And so the reason why I've emphasized over the past few weeks since this happened of why this has to be Willow is because what changes about Drew if it's not? If you don't make it Willow or in the weirdest twist of events like Scout, what does Drew learn? How is Drew forced to like look within himself and think about how his decisions led to the person that he's been obsessing about the most to shoot him? What's it going to take for him to realize that she isn't under his spell? She doesn't fucking love him. She hates him more than everyone else hates him. What cracks his fucking face? That should be the end game of this story because he is not a victim in it. He's not a victim in it. I understand that he's the person who was shot, but he is not the victim. This is the perfect story to make Willow the victim. And her excuse is gonna be that he drove her to it. He turned every single person that she cared about and could turn to against her. The only people she trusted, like the people she considered family, all against her, till she was left in this corner and had no choice but to shoot him and try to frame Michael to get her kids back and have some type of power in this. It's a good story to tell. I don't know why, and I hope they tell it. I hope they tell that story because anything else does not fix our Drew problem. That is now a problem. It's not a Cameron Matheson problem. He's playing the character that he's been given beautifully. It is a writing problem. It's a storytelling problem now. Because Drew is so deeply unlikable with no redeeming qualities. What happens to him if it's Michael who did it? Nothing changes. He's just validated in how he already felt about Michael. What happens if Curtis did it? Nothing changes. He's just validated in what he already thought about Curtis. That works for Portia. That works for Whitey's African Warlord. It works for Sonny. Like, there is no other character on the canvas unless they come back and tell us that with her dying fucking strength, Monica came and shot him in the back and then crawled back into her bed to go die. There's no other character that cracks his face. What are you going to have the ghost of Oscar come back and do it? What's happening here? And so giving us crazy fucking misdirects that should have been done months ago, if you were going to do them, that make the character you're trying to absolve look fucking terrible. It reminds us that his emotional affair he's been having for months is actually the worst. Like, who needs it? Who needs it? And so that is why I almost crashed out. I didn't. Like I said, they course corrected and let us know by like the end of Wednesday's episode that he didn't do it. And hopefully they stay true to that. I don't want to see any of this Selena Wu did it anyway because she wanted to have some bullshit on Curtis. Nobody needs that story. But let's go to Curtis's former other half, Portia. And talk about why I was on Portia's side over Nina. So we have Portia. She hears that Curtis is down at the PCBD talking to the cops, and she goes down there to make sure he's okay, potentially give him an alibi. And she sees Jordan. And so she's like, fuck it. He's good, I guess. He's with his wife, Jordan. And so she leaves. She gets a text from Ava, like, oh, come meet me for drinks. So she goes to meet Ava for drinks. Now, Ava is already at the bar with Nina. And, Nina's like lamenting about how Willow married Drew and she's so sad. And Ava's like, yeah. I invited Portia because y'all need to make up, to be honest. Like, I don't want my besties fighting. Nina starts flipping out, like, you didn't have the right, and yada yada. I was just trying to help my daughter. And Ava's like, okay, well, tell her ass that. Like, tell her that, because you still did it. Like, you thought I was going to sit there and just let you railroad this woman, railroad Trina's mom. I'm not. And so I told her ass, she knows, she's mad. And so deal with it. So Portia comes in. She didn't know Nina was going to be there. So she's like, nope, I'm all right. Let me leave. Ava's like, no, please give it a chance, give it a chance, give it a chance. Portia's like, I can't believe you ambushed me like this. Like, what the fuck is this? Nina's like, let me go to the bathroom. Portia's so funny. She was like, yeah, girl, do whatever is good for you. Like you're good at. Let her know. Read her ass. And so Portia goes into the bathroom to confront Nina. Nina, this is the thing about Nina. And if you're a Nina fan, that's fine. I'm just going to tell you what I've noticed about this character. Nina starts out with this fake contriteness where she tries to pretend that, like, whatever her actions were justifies whatever she had to do to accomplish her goal, right? So, like, me throwing you under the bus does not matter because I was trying to protect my daughter. I need you to understand. And she's very contrite with it, like, listen, please, I had to protect my daughter. She's alone. She's this. At a certain point, she realizes that the person she's trying to sell this to is not buying it, right? They just don't give a fuck because they don't care about Willow or Nina's need to protect Willow more than they care about their own well-being. And so at that point, Nina drops the act and starts acting like a raging bitch who was actually right to do what she did. And she does it all the time. It's usually with Carly, right? Like she starts out like, listen, please, we need to do this for each other. And Carly's like, no, we don't, because I don't want to be your friend. You don't want to be my friend. You're a fake ass bitch. And I don't know why you're doing this. I don't know what you're trying to gain from this. I don't know. I don't want to deal with it. And then she's like, you know what? You're right, bitch. And here's why. Like, that's what she does. So she does this to Portia. She's like, listen, I was just trying to help my daughter. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Portia's like, I don't fucking care about you or your train wreck fucking daughter. All right? You were my friend. You fucking betrayed me. And then Nina was like, well, I don't even know. Maybe you did kill Kurt. Maybe you did shoot Drew. What? So which is it? So first it was, you're sorry, you didn't, nothing's going to happen from it. And you were just trying to protect your daughter. Now you're a conscientious fucking citizen? Letting people know that I'm a murderer? Which is it? And so Portia's like, you're a raggedy bitch, and I want you to know that. Nina turns to leave. Portia grabs her, and they have some like off-screen fight. Nina storms out the bathroom, leaves, and Portia essentially tells Ava, "Let your friend know that I'm not gonna be railroaded by her asshole fucking daughter. Like, I'm gonna protect myself," and leaves. Now, I was on freaking Portia's side so hard for multiple reasons. I have 9 9 reasons. One, Nina did not raise Willow. And so comparing Portia and Trina to Nina and Willow is actually wild to me. These are not the same thing. And I just want to make it very clear that there is a difference between like parents who raise their children from jump versus parents and children who find each other late in life trying to like figure shit out. That it's not the same rules. It's not the same rules. And so, like, yes, I think that there's more valid. I find it more valid for Portia to be crashing out over Trina than for Nina to be crashing out over Willow. And I'll explain that also when I get to my Dante Gio Rocco recap. Okay, so there's that. 2, Willow doesn't even like Nina or want her help. And so there is a difference once more between, Portia crashing out, trying to help Trina. Trina probably would say, you don't need to do all that, but she would understand and she would appreciate it. Willow doesn't even want Nina's help, nor does she appreciate it. She don't like her. She considers all of the mistakes in her life to be nobody but Nina's fault. Even the ones that she makes herself are somehow Nina's fault, according to her. And so Nina doing all this for a bitch who wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire actually doesn't mean anything to me. Right? Which goes into my third reason. Willow is a fucking ingrate, unlike Trina. Okay? 4, Trina doesn't willingly participate in the bullshit that leads to her bad choice, like all the bad things happening to her. Right? Like Trina didn't willingly choose to be in Heather's crosshairs. Like Willow chooses to be with Drew day after day, minute after minute, hour after hour. Right? Like Trina doesn't choose to be with the person who's terrorizing her. 5, Trina is not actually a criminal that Portia is trying to protect. Trina didn't do emotional child abuse to children. She didn't actually, steal a baby and move it around and dress it up and do all these things, and Portia's covering that shit up. She wasn't cool with the emotional child abuse her partner was doing to her kids, and Portia was like, well, sometimes you gotta do it. No. Trina, number 6, Trina is not actively in support of Heather and her murderous ways. Like Willow is cool with Drew blackmailing half of the town to get what she wants. Right? Like, friggin' 7. Trina didn't use Portia to break a court order over and over and over and over and over again. Trina, like, these are not the same situations, right? Trina 8. Trina didn't break into Laura's house to move Ace around and try to do gaslighting to Esme, right? 9. Trina is an actual victim and Willow isn't. And so while I do not agree with any of Portia's decision making when it comes to Trina, to act like she has to pretend to be okay with Nina throwing her under the bus because she's done stuff for her daughter is an actual crazy argument. Like, well, you've done stuff for your daughter, so you should be totally okay with me trying to put you in jail. No, I'm not. And I actually hate that excuse, like when people are like, well, other people do other things, and that's why those people who do things have no right to feel a type of way when things are done to them. They're human beings. They're human beings. All humans are hypocritical as fuck. Like, just because you do one thing, it doesn't mean that you want that thing done to you. And you are allowed to have an opinion when it is done to you. Like, what are we talking about? That doesn't even make any sense. To just be like, well, Sonny Corinthos is a mobster, so when people fucking steal from him or do shit to him, he should understand. No, he shouldn't. The fuck are you talking about? Well, Portia, she lied and she did things for her daughter, so she should understand and just comfortably go to jail so Nina can protect hers. Fuck you. No, she shouldn't. What are you talking about, Nina? Get out of here. And so that is essentially Portia versus Nina. Portia does tell Nina that she's pregnant, so that she's putting a pregnant woman in jail, which I thought was a nice, chef's kiss. Make her feel extra guilty. But the final thing I want to talk about is obviously the all dogs go to Thanksgiving storyline. A lot of dogs showed up at Sunny's house, and it's like Dante versus Gio, and like I get that most of the Twitter timeline is on Gio and Emma's side. I am not on Gio and Emma's side, and I'm gonna explain why I'm not on their side. But let me break down what happened. So Dante, they have Thanksgiving. Everyone's having Thanksgiving. Dante at the end of their little flag football game or whatever, like 3-person, 4-person flag football game, essentially tells Rocco that he can't see Gio anymore because we're not going to do that. Like, this young man does not seem to care about you. He at least not when it comes to like your actual well-being. Like, he's cool with you, he want to hang out with you, he like you, but he doesn't take care of you like a big brother should, and so you can't hang out with him anymore. Rocco flips out, tells Dante that he abandoned him as a child. Now, here's what's up. I would feel more sympathy from Rocco if Dante didn't like take care of you for 4 years while your mama was in a coma. How many times are you gonna blame your parents' illness on them? Like, we get it. He's a kid, but like, let's be so fucking serious, Rocco. I wish I could talk to my parents like that. My mom would have slapped the shit out of me and be like, go to your room. He was able to run out the house. But yeah, Dante doesn't back down. Lulu backs him up, like, listen, we got to do it. I'm sorry, son. And Rocco's like, I can't believe it. And like runs out the house. Now, Dante want to go after his ass, and Lulu's like, nah, don't go after him. And they have like a whole conversation, and Lulu says that she never told Rocco, she did feel abandoned, but she didn't tell Rocco that, so she don't know where he got that. Got it on his own, Dante. Sorry. So Dante feels real bad about that, and Lulu tells Dante that he got to go after Rocco. And so let's go to where Rocco went before he gets there. So Sunny, everybody want to go camp out at Grandpa Sunny's house. Like, all of Dante's sons want to live with Sunny. It's very funny. But before Rocco gets there, Rick shows up. He shows up on Thanksgiving with booze. Like, I had dinner with Molly, but now I'm here to drink with my brother. Rick is like, no, Sunny is like, all right, okay, bet, let's do it. And so they start drinking, and here come Rocco. Here comes Rocco, like, I hate my dad, he's trying to keep me from my brother. What am I gonna do? Rick is like, you want me to go? Because this seems like some family stuff. Sonny's like, no, you family, you back in Mob Hospital, tentatively. Rick is tentatively back in Mob Hospital. He's like, go into the den, go watch the football, let me deal with my grandson here. And Sonny proceeds to actually parent Rocco. Because Sonny's like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Like, listen, I get that you mad at your dad. You don't have to agree with your dad. You can even fight with your dad. But what you're not about to do is walk out on your dad. Because that's your dad. All right? And I'm going to be so real with you, grandson. You've been acting real out of pocket. You've been acting real out of pocket. And while I'm not saying that Gio should be out your life, you don't really get a say in the shit that's happening right now, because you literally broke into a lab, got sent to juvie, and got your ass beat from the head to the feet. And so you don't actually get a say. Like, you want to go back to juvie? You just running around town at night. You ain't got no guardian. You ain't got no supervision. Just got out of juvie. You look like that because you got your ass beat from the head to the feet. What are we doing? And so he's the only person actually parenting Rocco. And to be honest, Dante's not wrong. Dante's not wrong. Because Emma got, like, they went to the Quartermains for Thanksgiving. Emma gets a note from somebody who's like, here's where these puppies are. And so she's like, we gotta go get the puppies. They planned a little puppy heist at the Hillbilly Bar. They go to Petco, get a bunch of leashes and collars, and they go free these dogs. Bring the dogs straight to Sonny's house. Straight to Sonny's house. What is happening here? What is happening here? Like, Rick is pissed. Rick is pissed. Rick is like, what is going on here? Like, you just made Rocco, who is literally out on bail, you just made him a party to all y'all's felonies. Cause what the fuck is this? And Sonny's like, nah, like we cool now. Remember, we just told Rocco, cause Rocco had come out when Sonny and Rick were talking again, to be like, what would you do if someone told you that you could kick it as brothers? And Sonny and Rick had to be like, so I'm gonna be so real with you, great nephew. Me and Grandpa don't be really liking each other most of the time. Like, this is a rare occurrence where we have a detente and we trying to work our way back to being brothers, but we love to be at war with each other. So we really don't even understand whatever you and Gio got going on. We admire it. We find it very cute, but that's a foreign country to us, because we really be beefing literally 22 hours of the day. This is the first time in years that we've been able to be in the same room. So, and it was very funny. And now you got Rick being like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? And so Sonny got to be like, listen, there got to be something we could do. Like they said, it's Thanksgiving. Came from R&R, done disappeared. The dogs were just out here. They ain't got no food. They ain't got no water. Like, this is a rescue mission. At that point, Dante shows up to make up with fucking Rocco. Sees all the stolen dogs. He's like, wow. So y'all just couldn't wait to keep doing crime. You just couldn't wait to keep doing crime, and then you brought the crime here. Rick is so funny because he was cussing them out right before Dante showed up, right? But as soon as the law shows up, because he recognizes Dante as the law, he's just like, nephew, I don't know what you're talking about because I don't see no crime. Like, where's the crime? This is a Good Samaritan act. These dogs were out here. Nobody was feeding them. Came from YNR. Ain't nobody saw his punk ass, his lying ass. And so we were doing, like, these people are heroes. These kids are heroes. And Rocco's like, please, Dad, please, it's Thanksgiving. If you let them get away with their felonies, I'll come home with you. And so they agreed to do that. And Dante takes Rocco home, and then he comes back to Sonny's house to lament about, how he don't really like his older son and he don't trust him. And he's not sure if he wants him around Rocco or in his life. Now, this is what I meant back a few minutes ago when I said that there is a difference between, like, people that you raised versus people that you meet late in life. That, like, if Nina wanted to do any type of thing for her own self-preservation, I wouldn't consider her a bad mother, because at this point, she don't owe Willow nothing. She don't owe Willow nothing. Like, she's tried to have a relationship. She's tried to be cool with her. And Willow snubs her every time. And now she's in all this trouble. And then Willow needs help. And Nina's like, nah, I don't want to do that. That's Nina's right. Because Willow sucks. And it would all seem fake. And because you're up against the wall. I'm not saying it's the same situation with Dante and Gio. I'm saying that the situation has been set up where Gio has done nothing but keep Dante at arm's length. So from what Dante knows about Gio, it's been nothing but chaos. And it seems like you only want to be a part of this family, and especially with your brother, when it's to get him in trouble. And that's a weird pattern of behavior. Because one, everyone is acting like these are not minors. Like, Gio and Emma, like, really talk like, well, Rocco makes his own decisions. No, he doesn't, because he's 15. He's 15. So what are you talking about? He's a child. Danny and Charlotte are children. Y'all got children hyped up, didn't put the brakes on nothing, thought that they would care about things that you would care about in the time that you care about them. They don't operate like that, and now here we are. And instead of taking any responsibility, like, you didn't take any responsibilities. with the law. You wanted the adults involved to absolve you of your guilt, and now you're mad that they didn't. You're mad that Dante didn't tell you it's actually fine. Thank you for telling me. I love you, son. That's what you're mad about. Because you admit that he's not wrong when he said that you didn't think about Rocco like a brother. And that is the thing. This is what I'm saying. On a cerebral level, Gio understands that Rocco is his younger brother. But he does not treat Rocco like a brother. He treats him like his friend. And he acts like, I don't need to think about you or care about you in these intimate familial ways. You can take care of yourself. And you make your own decisions, and those decisions are yours, and I don't need to I'm absolved from any responsibility for the decisions that my younger brother makes. That's not how brothers act. That's actually not how family acts. And I want to compare it to how Danny and Charlotte are acting, because they're crashing out. They're willing to go to jail, to go to juvie. They're going to lie on the stand. They'll do anything to protect Rocco. Emma and Gio, specifically Gio, because this is his younger brother, not Emma's. This is Gio's younger brother. Gio couldn't even put the Emma's sad puppy story aside to the left. We couldn't stop thinking about these sad puppies, even now, because for a second, out of the thought that it might make things harder for Rocco. Emma and her wants, the sad puppies, came first. They come before Rocco. That's a legitimate reason for Dante to not want this young man around his younger brother. The fact that you will always put what this young woman wants, feels, and needs ahead of your minor brother is why you cannot be around him. That is a valid reason to me. Because like I said, the show worked overtime to be like, the puppies were in danger. All these things. There were so many other people you could have called. You had the information. You could have called someone and been like, there are animals who are in distress at this location. There is no one taking care of them. You could have called the PCPD. But you didn't. You took it upon yourself because you do not care about this young man and what happens to him. Everything is secondary to these puppies. And that is the worst thing about Emma Scorpio Drake as a character right now, as she's being written to me. That, like, she has this very utilitarian way of thinking, this blind pursuit of saving puppies at the expense of everyone and everything. It's a terrible way to be written. I don't want, like, if you're enjoying it, feel free to enjoy it. As always, right? But for me, I do not wish to see a character who lives solely by the idea that the ends justify the means. That it is perfectly fine that this kid has his life fucking ruined, so I can be the one to personally save the puppies when there is a million other things we could have done. There's a million other things we could have done. You could have called Dante. You could have called Nathan. You could have called the WSB since you suspect they're the ones who told you about it. You could have called Sonny to send his goons over there to break in. There was so many things. And that's another thing. Like, so you didn't, the shelters are closed, which doesn't make any sense because it's not like animals stop needing help on Thanksgiving. But the shelters are closed. So you decided to take all these stolen dogs to the local mobster's house? You didn't think that was a problem? You didn't want to take them to the Quartermain Mansion, which is like a massive sprawling property where you can hide all these dogs until you figure out what you're going to do? You decided to get the mobster caught up in this? This is what I mean, where like they don't think about anyone but themselves. And all of their cover for me comes from plot. The story is being written as if they are right. And so I am to ignore all of the ways in which Dante is right, and I actually can't do that. And you can still have him say, like, they can have him say all the callous things they want, because I'll admit that he sounds like an idiot and an asshole when he's essentially talking about disowning his son based off of like the flimsiest reasons. But when they give him real reasons, like, you don't care about your brother past what this girl wants, that's real. That's real. And it's a valid reason to not have him around any of this, like, to be honest. And so, what else do we have? Like, one thing I will say, just to like end this with a little bit of levity, um, it's so funny to me that all of the dogs are like purebred. Like, Kane from Y&R was like, I only want to test on like $2,000 purebred fucking dogs because ain't no way I'm taking a mutt. And he had dogs of like different sizes and stuff. Like, usually, if you're gonna have a lab, because I work at a university that's a big program. I do not know if there are animals on the lab in the labs, but I assume so. But I do know that for test subjects, you want similar sample sizes, so you're not gonna just have like one test on like a Pomeranian and then another test on a fucking Great Dane. But we saw all of them. We saw from a Pomeranian to a Great Dane. It was very wild. They said we're gonna get all the dogs we can get. I was like, all right, that's fine. I also want to caveat that I still think that Gemma is a very cute couple. I still think that Jim is a very cute couple, but I think that's pretty much all I have. I've been talking for a really long time, so I'm going to let you guys go. If you like this, feel free to like and subscribe. Tell some people. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Google or Apple Podcasts, give me 5 stars. I should start saying this in the beginning. I should start saying that. It's always so weird to me to start off my podcast like and subscribe, listen. But I mean, I should probably promote myself more. But whatever. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye.